Okay, and we're live again. Now, I named the video correctly. Again, forgive the sloppiness. First stream attempt, so we're getting at it. Trying to figure out the kinks, but anyway, it's not just a test. I do have something to share with you guys today, and that is, as the title says, we're gonna play through the fretboard using one shape. So that's going to do a couple of things for us, which is really navigating the fretboard a little bit differently, because usually we learn these shapes, right? Like, let's say we're using the major scale for right now. Well, today I'm going to do major scale, and I'm also going to do minor pentatonic. So you get a little bit of everything. So all good, no worries. We're going to be in the key of G. So for example, you might have learned your 7 shapes for the G major or your 5 shapes for the minor pentatonic. Either way, you would have maybe learned them like, and then there would be the next shape, which would be over here, right? And that would be, and so on and so on. Or you might have learned the one here, you know, and but what I'm getting, and you should do that. I really think that you should learn those shapes, but that's not what this is about today. Today we're gonna take really one shape and move that across the fretboard using root notes. It's gonna do a couple of things. It's gonna help you learn the fretboard. It's gonna help you look at it a little bit differently, and it's gonna help you see how the patterns repeat across the fretboard. Because when you learn the shapes, or at least I used to think, it was like, man, all these boxes I have to learn, and everything seems so different from one shape to the next. And like on piano, for example, everything repeats left to right, and it kind of looks the same. The shapes look the same in one octave as they do another one. And guitar works like that too. You just gotta figure out how to make it look the same, or how the guitar is designed so that when you move across, it keeps the same shapes, kind of like in piano. And what I'm gonna do here is show you the first shape, which is, that's it. That's the only thing you're gonna need to move across the fretboard in G, and you can do this in any key, right? But if you look at the guitar in intervals, or in the shape intervals, you have 1, 2, 3, right? And it's this kind of pattern, or you know, you might have done some exercises with it or something like that. So you go 1, 2, 3, and I'm going fret 3, 5, and 7, right? And then you repeat the same thing on the 5th string, and that gives you 4, 5, and 6. We already have 6 of the 7 intervals that we need, not counting the next octave. You know, that's a lot. That's almost a whole. The whole scale right there. The entire major scale. The thing that we need next is here, the major 7th going to the octave, right? And that's on the 4th string. That's the 4th fret and the 5th fret. That is all you need for this exercise. And it's not just the exercise, it's also a tool, again, for navigating the fretboard. I'll stop saying that. But I'm kind of obsessed with that these days. So what you're gonna do with that, actually, I think I'm getting a little feedback here. Hang on. Okay, that should help the situation. Yes. All right. Where was I? So yeah, that's the only thing you're gonna need. Before we move on and start moving this across, I want to show you something, and that's mapping out the G's across the fretboard. We're going to use 5, and I like to see them as these 2 diagonal lines going across the fretboard. And again, using more shapes, using small shapes to navigate this. So you have G here on the 6th string, 3rd fret, and then you have another G here on the 5th fret, 4th string, and then you have another one on the 8th fret, 2nd string. And if you kind of put them all together, they create this line. And that's going to be your starting point. Or some of these are going to be your starting. They are going to be your starting point for moving across the fretboard. So if you go 3 Gs right there, right? And I like to memorize these shapes. Like for example, if you take any note off of the 6th string and you move it 2 frets over, 2 strings down, you're always going to get an octave, no matter where you are, if you're going from the 6th string. Those are all octaves. E, it's a great way to find the note an octave above. For example, B, same shape. B is here. Now I know it's here. You're gonna need that. But instead of thinking about shapes, all you have to think is about one note, and that's gonna be your starting note. You know, an octave above, right? So you have, and then from here, another shape, right? For finding octaves. If you go from the 4th string to the 2nd string, instead you move 2 strings down, but instead of 2 frets over, you go 3 frets over, and you get this shape, right? And that's a G. That now you know it's a G. Not a lot of people think about the 2nd string, but really it's just patterns repeating, right? The notes repeat, 12 notes repeat over and over and over. You just gotta find where they are. So you have G here, and then here. And again, this is gonna work across any string. Any fret. If you're going from the 4th string to the 2nd string, that's how you find the octave. So if I'm here in A, and I know easily that this is an A because I'm picturing this other one, right? We'll get really familiar with the 6th string, and you can use it as a reference point for the other strings as well. I'm using it for the 4th, and then the 4th in turn, I'm using it for the 2nd. You see that? Here, I'm thinking about this shape right here. So that's a good way to find your 3 octaves right across, right? So you have this shape. That's all you need. And let me show you really quick. It's super simple. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you get to 7, you slide up. And the reason you do that is so you can play the same shape the same way you did the first time. Because if I didn't, now I'm starting with the middle finger and now it's awkward. Now I gotta do something different. I want to try to keep it the same or similar as much as possible. So if I go fingers 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, slide, and then 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. Here it is. So that's how it works. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, slide up. And now look, I'm an octave above, ready to go again with the same shape. Easy. And then the only thing we have to remember is that the 2nd string, you have to move everything up by a half step, because the way the guitar is tuned in 4ths, right? E to A, that's a 4th, right? A to D, A, B, C, D, that's a 4th. A to D, 4th. D to G, another 4th. And then G, 3rd string, to B, 2nd string, that's a major 3rd. That's not a 4th. G, A, B. Major 3rd. So, and that's to help you with the way it's designed, to help you with voicings and chords, and it just makes sense. But you have to make up for that in this case because it's tuned a half step down. You have to move everything a half step up to make up for it. So when you get here, when you start off of the 4th string, right? Instead of going to the 6th fret, I go to the 7th. And I do the same thing. The shape look different here a little bit, right? Here. Oh, see? That's not what you want to do. That would be, you have to move it up by a half fret. So, oh. Yeah, that's exciting. No cuts in on live streaming. Usually, like if I was making video lessons or anything like that, I would just, that has to be cut out and I'll do it again. But now I have to be on my toes. And that being said, I would probably make many, many more mistakes along the way. So don't take that with you. Take what I'm trying to say. It's more important. So again, the shape goes, and then here it repeats again. You get up to the 2nd string. That's the F sharp right here. And then I move it up, and look at that. In this G, I have 2 strings left for me to play those 6 notes. I'm playing the same thing, but starting from this G. And this is, here it's normal. I'm out of strings, but that's okay. You know, I'm 6 strings. That's all I need. That's all I got, right? You can finish the scale if you want by sliding up to the 14th. That's F sharp. And then 15th, that's your G again. Normally when I'm playing, I won't do that. I mean, unless I'm trying to get to that position specifically, but it's just, that's just like extra, you know, if I want it, you know. So, but I'm here. And then here I could just slide back. Remember, it's half a step. That's it. If you're doing this for the first time, I recommend just doing ascending first. Don't even worry about descending because it might be a little confusing to try to tackle everything at once. So why do it? Just, you know, take everything in bite-sized chunks. So go from... And if you want to finish it, that's fine. One shape, and look how much frets you covered. If you finish the whole thing, you go from 3 to 15, but even then, if you don't, you go from 3 to 12. Like, that's the entire neck using one shape. And I like this a lot because then you start seeing how, if you can find the notes that you're looking for, in this case, just the root note of the scale, you can see that you can repeat the same patterns over and over and over again, right? Or your shapes. Not to saying that this is a substitute for the 7 shapes of the major scale or the 5 shapes of the pentatonic, which we will do in just a second. This is just a different way to do it because the shapes look so different when they're next to each other. For example, if I learn, I'll just do 1 octave to make it quicker. This one's gonna look a little different, which is the one that we did, right? And then maybe I jump here. That one, it looks very different. It's hard to connect those dots shape-wise. Here, I'm like, oh, G, do the same thing again. And this is going to give you a little more freedom to, if you can play a lick up here, you can play the same thing down here or whatever it is that you're doing. Now let's take this really quick and go to the minor pentatonic, right? Scale we all know and love. Maybe I should have left with that instead of the major, right? But we should know the major scale. So really doing the same thing. Let me show you what I did there. So minor pentatonic, box 1. That's all I'm gonna use, just that first octave. Because even though I have this here, I can keep going here. Notice how the second half looks nothing like the first. And this is kind of a thing about the shapes, because I'm playing it different from this G. I'm not playing it the same way as I did here. If I started with my ring finger, if I did it like that, then here, yeah, the shape is going to translate. Of course, everything for the second string moves a half step up. But if I keep everything here and slide up again, look, I'm starting with the same finger. Half step up again for the second string. So it's not gonna, here, I don't have to shift, right? Because I'm going from 6 to 4. No shifting involved. The 4th string is my 7th scale degree back to the root. Here, I have to make up for the second string and move up. And then the B to the E, that's a half step up. So then you would keep the same shape. You don't have to keep moving it up. But then everything is relative to the second string, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, just worry about the second string. Move everything a half step up. If you know the shapes, you're already kind of doing it. And in this case, it's really being aware that how the shape works and why that shape looks different. So here, right? And then here, look, I'm out of strings. That's okay. That's fine. But you can start playing. If you can start seeing that this is the same as that, it's gonna do a lot for you. You can start to kind of piece the neck together in a little bit of a different way, or different rather than just using your 5 pentatonic shapes, which again, I think this should be used in combination. But it's gonna help you see how the patterns repeat again, like in piano. In piano, if you play a chord or a scale or a lick or anything like that in 1 octave, it's gonna look exactly the same in the octave above. There are no position changes, I should say. You just switch to the register, but it looks the same way. And if we use this method, it kind of works in the same way. If I play, it's gonna look the same here, right? And that's what you're doing here too, in this middle position, right? Now, that's one line. We have two other, or I guess even really three other G's we can talk about. That's not G. That's G. the fifth string 10th fret. You don't even have to know what position you're in. If you know that that's your G, because A is up here on the 12th fret, and then you just go down a whole step. I play the same shape, and I'm not even worried about what pentatonic box this is or anything like that. All I have to worry about, if this is G and I got my 3 strings here and none of them are the second string, it's gonna look exactly the same as it does in box 1. And really, how familiar are we all with this box 1 minor pentatonic? And I would say that for most people, we're all really familiar with that shape and really strong with that shape. So you should see this as a plus, because then you can take this and use that one shape you're really comfortable with and move it across the fretboard. Right? Here you can play this low. In the 6th string, you're it's the same deal. You're out of strength, so that's cool. But if you play this, and then here on the 3rd string, you can do the same. The only thing, 2nd string moves up by a half step again. Oh. And it looks like the same as here. Right? Same deal. Here you have one G, and you can play 1 in minor 3rd or flat 3. And that's about it. That's all you get, because again, you don't have strings, so it's like you take it from whatever string you have and you play it as high and as low as you can, and that's pretty much it. But it's still a pretty cool way to, because then you're in box 1 again. So if, we're using box 1 anyway, or at least half of it, you might remember that this looks pretty similar. So that's it. And look at this shape again here. These octaves repeat. It's the same deal. Whatever you could do with the 6th string and 4th, you can do the same shape with the 5th and 3rd, which is this shape. So if I can find a G here, that means the G is 2 frets over, 2 strings below, or higher, however you want to look at it. So for example, if I go to my C sharp here, that's a C sharp right above. I just use the same shape. And if I'm playing pentatonics, I can go from that to here and play the same thing, right? So if I go, and it's again moving everything up from the 2nd string up a half step. Same deal. I have a C sharp here. I'm not thinking about pentatonic boxes. I'm just thinking about where the C sharps are. A quick way to find them, right? When's the last time you try to find a bunch of C sharps, right? That's be a good exercise. So back to G, that you have, remember these are how you can find them, and then you have another 3 set right here, right? And we talked about the relationship that we have between 4 and string 4 and 2, where instead of 2 frets over is 3 frets over. The same thing is true for the 3rd and 1st string. That's how we're gonna find. So if we have, for example, a C here on the 3rd string, 5th fret, 3 frets over, 2 strings down, or up, that's where your next octave is gonna be. And this method is gonna be useful not just for this, but when you start maybe playing through chords or start thinking about different keys or anything like that. You wanna think about where the root notes are and what notes you're playing in relation. So this is a good way to get started on that, in my opinion. Yeah, so if you guys, this was fun. Now, okay, and I'm keeping it short. It's my first live stream, so I figured I'd do a quick lesson, and there was a few hiccups, but I think all in all, not too bad. If you have a question, leave comment and all of that. Oh, so let me pump myself up a little bit. My name is Isaac Hernandez. I probably should have said this at the beginning, but I can't see many people watching, so I think it's gonna be fine either way. I'll remember to do this next time. My name is Isaac Hernandez. I am a musician. Guitar is my instrument. I compose, I teach, and I study music. If you get some value out of what I'm teaching, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. I also have a podcast with a really good friend of mine, Dalton McLaughlin. He's another guitar player, which is interesting because I'm like a rock guitarist and he's from a classical background. And on our podcast, what we do is interview musicians from all backgrounds, all genres. We've done, opera singers that have performed in Carnegie Hall to rappers, that are established like in the Cali scene and things like that. And we just try to get at their process and how they've approached music from a craft standpoint, like kind of what we did today, and towards approaches to practices, but also towards their lifestyle, their career choices, and seeing what we could get at like social media marketing. And there have been great people and a lot to learn from, for sure. So if you're a musician and you're looking to step your game up, whether it's on your instrument or on your social media, your marketing, or anything, like these people talk about every aspect of their lives, and they all have something unique to say. And I've learned a ton from all the guests, and we're just getting started. We just uploaded episode 17 with Alexander Bowie. Alexander Bowie, and he was on America's Top Talent. He's a concert pianist. He's I believe endorsed by Steinway Pianos, and he's super good. And just hearing his thoughts on practice and all of that it was too much. It was a long episode, but it was so worth it. I remember when I was editing, I couldn't see myself chopping any of it because it was all so useful. Sometimes there's a little extra banter. I'm like, all right, cut this out. But with him, he just had a lot to offer. So there's a clip on the Instagram. My Instagram is the Isaac Hernandez, and my name is ISSAC, as you can see. Also, I will be doing these every Saturday. So I'm gonna my guitar lessons are gonna be live streams from now on because I'm not very fond of editing guitar lessons. So we're gonna see how this works out with mistakes and all. But I am going to keep doing this. And so if you have anything specific that you want me to go over, hit me up, leave a comment, send me a DM, send me a message, whatever it is that you want to do. And that's it. I'm gonna stop talking now, and thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.